Hello and welcome back to Assetto Corsa, and welcome to yet another Assetto Corsa extra video. You're probably wondering, why is he doing an extra video when he doesn't make normal Assetto Corsa videos? Well, that will all become apparent as I start driving this Formula or RSS Formula V10 2000 or RSS Formula 2000 V10, something like that. Basically a 2000, 2001 or maybe even 1999 Formula 1 car. Driving it in the colours of Ferrari, Scuderia Ferrari, and of course, who else would I be driving it? Which other name would I be driving it under except the number 3 car, which belonged to Michael Schumacher? This, I believe, is the 2001 because this is before he became world champion for the 3rd time. So I'm going to be driving this car around, and I'm going to be talking about an idea I've had to do an ultimate Formula 1 showdown. I'll be talking a bit more about that, explaining my ideas, whilst driving this car for the absolute first time, and I do mean the absolute first time, not even move this car an inch. I have no idea how this car is going to drive, I do not have a clue, but this is going to be quite interesting. So, if you don't want to hear the talking, at least stay around, or stick around for the, probably for the spinning. Okay, first of all, that just sounds absolutely fantastic. This is going to be really cool. But let's have a good look at this. Let's actually try and get this car working. Nice and slow to start with. Oh my word, this sounds like an F1 car that I recognise very much. Brakes are good. The first couple of laps are probably going to be just me trying to dial in this car, which, as you can see, that's a very familiar noise. I love the new smoke effects as well, very realistic. But yeah, it's going to be just me dialing in this car, trying to get used to it, trying to understand what I can and cannot do. Spins and crashes are going to be commonplace. I mean, I only got around one corner before I spun it, but yeah, this is going to be really interesting. But what I want to talk about the whole time through is I do want to be talking about this Formula Showdown, Ultimate Formula 1 Showdown. Now, if you guys have been following the channel for a while, some of you might have, some of you might not have, you may remember me doing a hypercar challenge and the hypercar showdown where I pitted the LaFerrari against the, I can't actually see the track, the LaFerrari against the P1 against the Porsche 918, and we had a look at what they could possibly do and how they felt and how each car was different in its own way and what I felt on each car, which car I felt was faster, which car I managed to get round, in that case it was Silverstone, which car I managed to get round faster, and yeah, all that kind of stuff. So in a similar fashion, I want to do this with Formula 1 cars, except, of course, with Formula 1 cars, there's going to be a lot more to do, because you're going to have this kind of car, which is from the year 2000, but also you're going to have cars dating back to 1960s. So we're talking about going from the Lotus 25. We're starting with the Lotus 25, which is 1962. We're talking about starting there, going to the Lotus 49, moving ourselves forward, going over to the Lotus, I spun it again, going over to the Lotus 25. Was it Lotus 25? Not Lotus 25, Lotus 72, or whatever it was, 72D. Going on to that, which was 1970. Moving on from that, in fact, no, there's one in 1967 we could do as well, the Ferrari 312/67, then going over to the Lotus 72D, going forward to the Ferrari 312T, which was 1975-ish, so going forward like that. Going over to 1980s, we'll be looking at, what would we have in the 1980s? There's a couple of cars in the 1980s. I suppose the 98T would be one to go for, the McLaren MP4 would be having a look at that. Okay. This car is amazingly good and very difficult to drive. Yeah, McLaren MP4. Go over to the 1990s, we've got the Williams. We can go for the old Williams, the ones driven by Nigel Mansell. The Michael Schumacher's first car, the Jordan 191. We could go forward into more Ferraris. I think I even have one of the Ferraris. Is it 675? Ferrari, I think it's 675, driven by Gerhard Berger. We could go on to that. We can go a little bit further still and start getting into these. The Williams cars, driven by Damon Hill, for example. Go even further, we'll end up with the 1997 Formula 1 cars, the 1996 actually as well, the 312, the F310, sorry, the F310. Then you could go slightly further, go over to the F310, F310B for 1997. Come up to this V10 RSS V10, which is essentially the F2000, or close as we're going to get to the F2000. Go up to 2002. We've got the Williams I can't remember the name of the Williams that was in 2002, driven by Juan Pablo Montoya. You've got that. So what was that one? That was the FW26, maybe? No, I don't think it was the 26. I think it may have been earlier than that. So somewhere around that era. So you got that kind of car. Move on to the Ferrari F2004, possibly the greatest F1 car ever built, at least in my opinion. Then we could move on to the FW31. Oh, actually, no, I've also got the F2007. So we could have the Ferrari F2007, the McLaren MP4-22. We could take that out for a spin. So yeah, loads and loads of cars, even right up to modern day F1. We can take out a 2019 style Formula Hybrid by RSS, which is a fantastic one. So we'll take that out as well. And on each one, I'm going to be obviously doing a lot of laps on them. I'll be talking about their looks. I'll be talking a little bit about their history. In the case of this, I'll be talking about specific cars or specific cars that were fighting for a championship. So we'll be looking at the history of those kind of cars. We'll be looking at what they sound like, what their engines were like generally. We'll be looking at the feel of the car. That's really important. How does it feel? So, for example, how this car feels for me to drive. I'll tell you now, it's quite understeery compared to what I've been driving recently. But, you know, all those kind of things, and then coming up with a score, grading these cars, ending up with my opinion, and of course it can only be my opinion. I'm sure other people will think of things in other ways and put cars in different places, but it will be my opinion as to which car belongs where on the ultimate F1 list of cars that are sadly available in Assetto Corsa. I will not be able to test every single car, but as many cars as I possibly can across those eras. So we're talking about 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, 2000s and 2010s, 2010s. And I think that's going to be awesome. You're looking at 50 years of Formula 1 cars. That was brutal. That was really brutal. 50 years of Formula 1 cars, and we're going to be able to see exactly what they feel like. So I think it's a really good idea, and I think that since I don't do many Assetto Corsa videos, it's a nice way to end the series to do something like that. I think it's going to be really, really quite cool, really quite special. So if you've got any ideas about this, please leave comments in the comments box below. Maybe even of the cars that I've mentioned, maybe even shortlisting them. Maybe picking 2 cars from each decade to take a look at. So we'd say, I suppose you could also do 3 cars in certain decades. So 60s we could do 3 cars, 70s we could do 2 cars, 80s we could do 2 cars, 90s we could do 3 cars, 2000s we could do 3 cars, and 2010s we could do 2 cars. That would be pretty cool, and I'll do this over multiple episodes, I'm sure. It couldn't just be one big episode, unless you guys think you'd like one big episode. Then we could do a massive Top Gear or Grand Tour style special episode where we take each car out. And if you haven't seen the Hypercar Showdown, the link is in the description box below. You can go have a look at the Hypercar Showdown and you'll know exactly what I am talking about. This car does really understeer. It really, really does. Whoa. And it doesn't help that I'm a little bit lower down than I would like to be. What happened there? it doesn't help that, yeah, I am a little bit lower down than I'd like to be. Was that pit lane? That was odd. Hang on a second, I need to check something here. What on earth is that? It doesn't look like grass. That is pit lane. Is it? Or P for... It's reverse. I think that might be P for reverse. Okay. That's not what it's meant to be. Anyway. So that's the idea I have, and I think it's going to be really, really cool. I want to do it regardless. But it would be great if I could get as much feedback as possible from you guys as to what you'd like to see. What would you like me to grade it on? Lap times? Would lap times be a factor? Could we say which one is faster also get some points? Which one's easier to drive? Which one's more thrilling to drive? That would be good. Which one sounds better? You know, all these kind of things. And I think that would give us a fair amount of criteria to have a look at, because for example, we all know that the 2019 car isn't going to win any competitions for sound. It just isn't. But for looks, taking away the halo, for looks that thing could win potential points. On the other hand, cars like this are going to win all the sound points, but they're not going to be the fastest around for a single lap. They just aren't. So they're going to lose out there to something like the 2019 car, or even to the 2004 car. So that would be really, really cool. I am really pushing this car into the grass. I just can't see. Right, let's try not spinning it again. Got to be really trying to work out a better line through there, because I don't have a good line. I don't have a good line through there. But again, this isn't about me testing this car out. This is just I just wanted to try this car. Because this car is awesome. It's really awesome. And you really have to be on your toes on this car. But yeah, what do you guys think? And that's all I'm going to say about it so far. If I do go ahead with it, and I do want to go ahead with it, there will be a trailer made, just like I've made trailers previously for the Hypercar Showdown. I will make a trailer, so you'll be able to see that, and then I will be getting to work, and it's going to be difficult. It is going to be hard, so you might have seen some of the pop-ups come up about subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell, or liking and commenting, or whatever it is, supporting me on Patreon and social media. All those things are going to help me do it and create the kind of content that you guys want, because that will be awesome. And that's what I want to do at the end of the day. I want to create content that I enjoy and that you guys enjoy, because if we both enjoy it, that would be awesome. I need to really trust myself. Yeah, I was going to say trust myself. I need to trust myself to go closer to the edge on that. This is fun. This is really fun, I am going to admit. Though I'm not driving very well at all, this is actually really quite fun. And I'm going to now start pushing it a little bit more. So it's time to really start pushing further. And now I'm going to start being a little bit more quiet. So I've spoken about it. I'd love to hear the comments. Write it down right now. You can start writing it while I'm driving. It would be great. I will read every single one of those comments. And let's see what you guys want and what I can then, hopefully what I can deliver. That was terrible. Also, Formula 1 racing here would be nice. Honestly, it would be really nice. This is what we should do. Bring back the European legs for the Formula 1 and have them move around, and have this as one. Donington could again be one. That would be nice. And honestly, a one-off at Valencia may not be too bad. I feel like I am just a tad too low. I do feel like I am just a little bit too low. That's because I can't see over. But then that might just be how this car was, in which case, get used to it, you know. This would be a really good track in my opinion. You can just see that I'm starting to slowly get used to this car. 1.67, 6 seconds up. 134.2 flat. I've got to figure out how to go around that corner faster. That corner is really quite... Uh-oh. Understeer again. It's just built into the car. I can tell you that now. It's built into the car, and the reason being is that these cars don't have the aerodynamics of modern F1 machinery. But that's what made these cars more fun. It was mechanical grip. You really had to control it. You had to be... Yeah, it was just good. And this is coming from someone who does a lot of aerodynamics and things like that. But still, these cars were really quite special. Just pure power, lots of speed, ridiculous. Not much torque, I will admit. These cars were not very torquey. Powerful but not torquey. And you had to use first gear. That was decent. Could have gone faster, but that was decent. I think this was only the second year or something that they had 7 gears. Second or third year. But they actually had 7 gears in these. I think a wider line through here with a... No, it's still not working. Still not working. This corner does catch you out. You don't realise the tiny little bumps on these. You really don't realise the tiny little bumps when you're driving. For example, the last time I drove a car here, it was a Seat Leon. I was driving a Seat Leon TCR car. So you don't notice these tiny little bumps that will throw you out. Oh, that's wide. That's wide. That was slow as well. Again, try and do a nice cut in here. Not good enough. Too early on the apex. Compromises the exit massively. See the compromise on that exit there. Oh, that's gone. I was trying to carry a little bit too much speed through that, and the car just washed out. I was hoping I could control it, but unfortunately I couldn't. Still, this is proving to be very, very nice to drive. Very nice. I'm thoroughly impressed with RSS once again. How does that work for me? Not entirely well. It's great through the corner, but slow on the exit. I've got to try not to catch first as much as I'm catching it. That being said, it's not that bad to catch first in a car like this, because the torque isn't great, as I said. At least of what I remember of these cars. Maybe the torque is great and I'm just chatting a load of rubbish. Oh, missed that apex by a country mile. Right, once again going to mess up this apex, as you do. I've got to figure out how to get a really good line through. Oh, that's an okay-ish line. That was an okay-ish line. Not brilliant, but okay-ish. That's a really wide line with a late apex. Very late apex. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. The slightly tighter line is fast. I'm washing off. I'm just washing off too much speed there. 132.5. I like that green light that there is on here that tells us when we're up or down on a delta. If you just have a look next to the rev counter, it's just a little green light. That's telling me whether I'm up or down on my split. That's brilliant. Just trying to do a bit of a blend there, but it's not really working how I want it to. Again, can't see over the crest of the hill. Don't know this car well enough to be able to judge what's going on. That could be a much better corner. No, still not good enough. Almost went flat through that. Almost. Still not that good, still not that good, but better. I got another quarter second on that, 3/4 of a second, sorry. 131.8. I wonder if I can bring myself into a 131.5. Should be able to. $131.5 should be possible. Using as much of the track as I dare, cutting in quickly. Missed that apex. Missed that apex, but just trying to keep up the speed a bit. Catch that one quite nicely. Just missed that one. Trying to do it, trying to push. There we go. Okay. Better corner this time. That's not great. That was actually pretty bad, I think. But I might get myself into the 31.5s. 31.3, okay. One more lap and then I'll call this a session, I think. Got to try and work this one out. That was alright. I'm not pushing the car still. I still feel that this car can be pushed. I'm choosing not to push the car as much because I'm not as confident. As you can see, I've just lost a lot of time there. Try and make that up again through this. Now I've got to push a little bit to try and make up just that little bit of time. Just trying to make up a bit of time here. Well, going flat out through that isn't bad. car would not bite. Car would not bite there whatsoever. I had to keep coming out of the turn there. You might have just seen the steering wheel. I had to keep washing off as it just did not want to bite. Okay, fair enough. Well, that's where I'm going to end it. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Assetto Corsa, especially if you want to see that Formula challenge. Leave a comment in the comments box below, letting me know what you think. That's really quite important, as I missed that apex by more than a country mile. I think I might have just missed that by an entire country. The turn I was taking was in Great Britain. Leave a comment, like I said, with all those ideas, and also do support me on Patreon, www.patreon.com/ecgadget. Your support would be massively appreciated. It would really help me out. Your support would be just help me create all these things, turn this into a full-time career and whatnot, and create as many videos as I possibly can for you, and streams of course too. Okay, that's gone. Aside from that, you can find me on social media at ecgadget. You can find me on social media at ecgadgetlp for both Twitter and Instagram. That was me pushing just a little bit too much there. Links to everything are in the description box below. And I think that's everything. So I will see you guys next time in Assetto Corsa, hopefully, where I start planning the Formula challenge. I'll see you guys then.